you ready? Are you ready?
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Meta Sports League studios and the DigiFan Podcast. We've got Wags, JC, L. Teagues, and Peanut. Boys, we had a great brekkie this morning, and looking forward to the conversation. I know we were holding back, waiting for us to reveal our takes. Wags?
Well, we were trying to, but the egos were such at the ends of the bar there. We were in an L where there's like you put 5 people in one room. No one's going to be quiet. I mean, we basically revealed about a third of them. Wouldn't you agree? Well, we're getting the music back in here again. I do like the tunes, though. It's just phenomenal.
Well, it starts it, right?
Burnsy.
Yeah.
The tan.
Okay, let's go there now, huh?
I mean,
tan, yeah,
you're clearly
I look like Casper the Ghost
Are
over
you
here.
going somewhere or been somewhere? Is this like, what's happening? Or is this a spray on?
No.
And the color as well as it really to get that tan to
What's
pop.
happening?
I'm Latino, number one. LT
Mexico.
Latino, and so that's kind of my skin tone. But I am preparing to go on a trip, and going to stop for a couple weeks. We're going to me and the family are picking up on the 18th and coming back on the 2nd. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
That's
But,
killer.
All I
go.
want,
Are you looking
all
forward
I want
to it?
for Christmas is
Oh.
what Burnsy has.
Yeah.
What are you most
very
looking forward to?
Spending time with the family. Yeah. Just making those memories.
The-
and,
love it.
yeah,
Very
kids are
wholesome.
Sentimental.
The local product.
Do you
Well,
guys make
yeah.
this a pilgrimage every
Yes,
year that time of the year? Is that kind of a
definitely.
thing?
Yes, if we're not doing Christmas, because we have the grandparents still, and we want to spend time with them as well. So it's every other year.
Super cool.
Yeah.
We're going to be enjoying Mexico through
Oh
you.
yeah, well, I'll
Vicariously?
I'll be doing a call in.
Are you gonna-
I'll call
are you
in.
gonna call in?
Oh, absolutely. Ocean view, bro.
Nice.
Ocean view.
Love it.
Love it. How about you? You grew the beard.
Grooming the beard. Yeah, you guys were asking about the tips and tricks, what I get into to.
Why don't you look
What's
at the
it-
camera? Look up, straight at it. Look at that thing. It's like
There you go.
It's almost like a.
It's
now
wild.
It's looking
It's wild.
It's why it's intentional though. Like
It
so.
is.
Then when you're going there, then I look at that. I'm like, okay, are you working too hard or
No, I mean it's a very strict routine. You gotta when you're in the shower, getting the morning started, you got the shampoo, the beard shampoo.
Oh, come on.
Is that different shampoo?
Yes. Like
No, it's
yes.
not.
Do
Yes.
you put oil on it?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
All right, we already
you
know how
are
this.
trying too hard.
We already know how today's
God.
started.
You oh my God. You have. I didn't even know that existed. You have
Yes.
a beard shampoo.
Yes.
And it does
Yes.
it does have a different finish than your lid.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That is good. That is good.
We were asking if you ever got this confused with another part of the anatomy that maybe.
And he did, didn't he?
This is PG. This is PG.
I didn't say anything, bro.
Who said what?
I didn't say anything.
But no, there's beard shampoo. I come out and usually it is like a conditioner for the day.
Seriously?
Yeah, and then usually there's like a little bit of brushing or combing involved.
You get that from Manscaped?
No.
Who is your brand of choice?
Oh gosh, I've used there's a couple of different people. I know. So my mom has done Mary Kay in the past, and they have a men's line. So I've used some of that stuff, and then there's a couple of different brands
There's
I've
a
tried
local
out.
company downtown Minneapolis that also has all those products.
Of course, Jeff, you would know. Like,
Of course.
every company.
Of
Tell
course,
us more. Tell us more.
Hey, by the way, I got a guy.
By the way, I
That's
know a
Jeff,
guy.
I got a guy.
Now, guys, hey, just real quick,
Couple
Doc,
of Target execs.
Doc's back there on doing the board. How's your Manscaped?
I keep it nice and tight.
Nice and tight. Okay.
Nice and tight.
V
nice
pattern.
and clean.
Are you talking up top or down low?
PG.
Well, that's
PG.
where it just got weird.
So, but no. So it's shampoo, come out, conditioner, brush it, and
Okay.
then at night is usually there's like a oil. It's like a beard enhancer. It's like a growth stimulator.
No
You are
wonder you
very
were late
much
today.
You are very much getting into the real estate of
High
being able
maintenance.
to create the shelf. You know that thing?
Yep.
Are you considering that?
We'll see how long ago. I got to get the sides to grow, and I've always just been like a goatee
Are
type
you
of guy.
capable?
I am. I am.
Looks a little sparse.
See, but that's what happens.
the
There,
cheeks.
there were many awkward stages getting to this point, and a lot of people doubted it. They hated
Doesn't
it, but
this shit just bug you right here?
no,
Oh, God.
no. I
Like
love
mine
it.
right now, this is it. It's coming off tomorrow morning. I can't take it.
Well,
Doc, are you the
enough
same
beard talk.
kind of like it's cool here, but then after a while,
Yeah,
it's like
after a certain length, you gotta
drives me nuts.
Yeah, you gotta knock it off.
Peanut, I know too many people that love it.
Yeah,
So
a lot of people enjoy
We're
it.
not asking you to get rid of it. It's just something I could
I'm
never
just
do, but
saying,
I'm
like-
fascinated by it. Like
know,
it's
but-
just like how do you do that?
I've just gotten used to it.
Talent.
Honestly,
You're
I mean, it's,
Did it bug you a little at first? Be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
Like,
like
where's
It gets
weird.
itchy.
It
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
itchy.
Yeah,
Is this itchy?
no.
Right now.
No.
Does it feel like
when
a
it-
head of hair?
When it's longer, fellas, it's not itchy, but it's like that in between stage.
Yeah,
Have you had one of those, Doc?
Yeah, not that long.
Yeah, the in-betweens.
But you're kind of trying to get to the handlebar here, aren't you? That's what
Not necessarily.
Are we going there?
We could.
Are you going to be that guy?
We could. We could be. Enough beer talk, though. We got other things to talk about, too. We got JC. to
JC,
get
how about
to.
you?
What do you got
We're
going?
doing good.
What's your week like?
Oh, the week's been good. Very good. A little cold, but all good.
True that.
We've been hitting some negative 15, or it feels like negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit here in Minnesota.
Seriously.
We're making some good ice out there on Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah.
Oh,
And in Doc's backyard.
here we go.
Remember last year they never even
They
started
couldn't even get
the
out
ice
there.
season.
We had no snow. We had
Yep.
it was we stole
Warm.
winter.
And it's kind of crazy real quick. I keep this short.
I didn't mind that.
Me
Just
either.
say.
Didn't mind what?
No,
Not having
this is
snow.
a hockey
Oh, yeah.
podcast. We need
Yeah,
I know,
come
but
on,
saying-
come
but
on.
it's
It was
okay,
indoor
though.
hockey. You can love hockey in indoor
I
hockey.
agree with you 100%.
I'm just saying.
I think we brought out the
We've
snow-
been living here for how long, and
Yeah.
we dealt with
Totally
Oh,
disagree.
100,
Totally
100%.
disagree.
Totally disagree.
I'm going to Mexico.
I think we brought out the snowblowers twice last year.
I'll be right behind you.
I was telling people, it's crazy how much, though, when we don't have a cold winter and we don't have a lot of snow, how much it actually wrecks the fishing industry, the ice fishing industry, because there's a lot of people that do guiding, all over the state, especially up north.
snowmobile.
Snowmobile, but
Ooh,
especially
that's a big one.
all the
Big
skiing
one.
and snowboard resorts, too. I mean, they don't have good
Cross-country skiers.
snow. That's a big deal,
It was
too.
a quiet bit last summer or last winter or spring or fall, whatever you want. Last winter.
Yeah, think of all the resorts.
There was no
Right.
season for snowmobiling or ice fishing.
Yeah.
Or
it was
skiing,
it was wild. It was tricky.
Skiing, they can make up for it.
Well, I think I'm going to
Love
turn
it.
this
I would agree.
whole show is going to be pretty much the three of you to carry because I am just I'm fucked.
Too much steak.
Like
Yeah, tell us about your week.
Yeah, tell us about your week real quick.
Thank you.
How was above the northern border there?
Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
The 51st state.
Hardly. It was so good. It was a place I don't know if I really wanted to leave.
Really?
I liked it that
A
much.
lot of people say that.
The friendliness was real.
Yep.
It was really incredible.
It was like a
And,
different level of Minnesota nice.
It wasn't even that. It wasn't fake.
They accepted
so
you?
it was like they're
Well, Jeff.
no, but it was
He's
great.
smirking.
But I think we were there for work parties and stuff. But one of the cool things that we were able to do was go to Montreal Canadian game against the Anaheim Ducks. We're gonna get into Bill Bellicheck next, but I just kind of wanted to throw this out here for your experiences because I think as a sports fan, when you watch it on TV, you don't really feel what it's like in the building because
Right,
you don't
for sure.
interact.
Yeah.
And I've now been to games in Tampa, Dallas, Minnesota, and Montreal.
All over.
Those four. And the Montreal game, it was so unique. First of all, the Bell Center is amazing. Largest seating capacity facility in the NHL. But you get in and out of that thing so fast.
Yeah.
So you come right up on the side of the building. They have entrances on the side, street level. And you're just in right away, and
So you're saying they have like more entrances so that it's
like one
seamless.
It's small entrances, but more, and
Right.
then you just go right in. You get up to whatever level you're on. We were on this like our club level, free food.
Really?
Perfect.
I didn't know.
What was-
I
what was-
didn't know that until the third period, and everything's expensive. We went to this great Italian place before, dropped a C note without blinking for dinner. Couple drinks, of course, chocolate cake here to add to the double chin, and it was amazing.
How good was the chocolate cake?
Oh, it was fun.
Was it rich?
I love chocolate.
Really good.
Yeah.
See, I have a problem with chocolate cakes.
Cheers to that.
I got cold brew. How good was that chocolate cake? Was good though. See, I have a problem with double chocolate or triple chocolate. It's too rich. It's too dense.
No,
Was
they
that
had
the
a
case?
perfect blend.
Perfect blend. Okay.
Yep.
So they know how to do it up there. Is what you're saying?
I had a moose there that was like real moose. Anyway,
It's French.
So then I learned that the tickets are free. But here's the thing that stood out to me the most when you're at the game. We're pretty good here in Minnesota when we see a scoring chance. Pretty good as far as getting excited. But the first thing I noticed is not one person in a building with not one seat available with a team that had the fewest amount of points in the league going into that game got up during the play ever until the period break. It was insanity. Everybody was riveted. but they weren't like, but they would
culture,
They had
the
respect.
atmosphere.
They had respect for the game.
Yeah, so
respect
cool.
for-
Like you hear
for the-
about it, but
yeah.
then to really feel it and see it was so cool that when there's a scoring chance, the crescendo, either way.
Okay.
Like they appreciated
So
both sides, and then if their goalie made a great save,
Yeah.
they'd go nuts.
Right.
But it was super cool. They just appreciated good action.
So what you're
was
saying is
good.
that despite the record, the culture, the atmosphere, I always tell people when I go to the XL, man, there is nothing like the XL. You could dislike, you could hate hockey. You go in there, it is bone chilling. It is electric when they score a goal. So are you saying that's what the atmosphere and culture is like up there
I would
too?
say they weren't even comparable.
Sure.
And that I would
No
say,
way. Really?
Yeah, not even comparable.
Way better up there
It's just the culture you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
Like,
wow.
culture.
because there's
Yeah.
a different level of
David, you know what I'm
hockey
saying.
culture.
Everyone can get excited about a goal. But
Right,
you have
yeah.
to wait till that excitement that you keep going. That's the culture, right?
The banter
French.
around
It's like Wimbledon.
the banter
Yes,
around. Here was the
totally.
yes,
Yep.
yes,
100%.
exactly. So the banter around you was either in French or
Yep.
English, and so you could hear multiple things.
Didn't matter.
And it didn't. It was super cool because the English stuff, which you could understand, was insanely knowledgeable things about the Ducks,
Right, right.
they knew things, and it was just. But it was the game day operation that I thought was so cool. So like I think Tampa though has been the best. No, I'd say Dallas was the best of the four that I've been at, and Minnesota's easily number 4, worst.
Yep.
Which is
of those
stunning.
4. It's tired and old. It's worn out.
Wow.
I would like
Wow.
to. I would like to believe that Dallas know what the hell they're doing down there. Since
So you're saying Dallas is
swiped our
above
team.
the Wild?
Game day operations
Hold up.
kicks
Oh,
Wild's ass.
baby.
Like
Throwing
stadium
jabs.
wise, just
Game day
just-
operations.
Yeah.
But you guys are really arrogant.
yeah.
I mean, it's pathetic, the arrogance I'm feeling oozing from this room.
Including
Just
myself.
arrogance. Just because you're from
There is a
Minnesota
pride and
doesn't mean
culture that
you-
we have.
No, but just because you're from Minnesota doesn't mean you wrote the book on how to be a hockey fan.
Oh, we never said that though.
and the fact of the matter is half of the people that have those
Fair
season
weather
tickets
fans, too.
Are
Yeah,
from,
bandwagon.
But the people that have tickets in Dallas are from
Let's
Montreal.
add
They're
some
from
fuel
New
onto
York.
this.
They're from Minnesota. They're from St. Louis. Hey, Quirky. They're from Vancouver. They're from all over. So they're hockey fans. It's not like, I mean, that is, I mean, that's almost, I can't use the racist word, but that's kind of stereotyping.
But it seems safe to assume that people
But
from
game day
Minnesota
operations.
have much more equity into the sport than someone from Texas.
Have you seen the youth hockey down there?
We're going to youth
I've
hockey.
actually heard it's quite
Have
good.
you?
Actually,
I want to know. Have
Well,
you?
indoor ice has changed everything, including up here.
well, Peanut. There's a guy on Web3 that's from Dallas that is like touting their youth sports stuff.
Their AAA hockey is outstanding. And
Down in Dallas.
I get a little sandpapery here because, we're going to go history lesson. When I went down to Dallas to work with the Stars, one of the first hats I wore was in merchandise. And one of the things we had to do was outfit the Stars stuff store. I have pictures. I'll show those to you later. And, God, I wear my hat on top of my head. I look like a complete fool. But we had also equipped 400 new players. There were 400 players in Dallas youth hockey at the time in the DFW Metroplex. And we had to outfit another 400 with gear, and we had to get gear within weeks, which was amazing how we were able to do it. Then we had 400 players that needed to learn the game. Mm-hmm. We outfitted them in Dallas Stars uniform. We started the Dallas Junior Stars program. There already was the DAHA, the Dallas Amateur Hockey Association. And then over the course, I mean, we're talking 30 years, this thing has grown. We went from having maybe 2 mall sheets of ice in 2 malls. And then we ended up, and then the Star Center in Valley Ranch. I believe there's at least 9 different rinks and probably a dozen to 15 sheets of ice throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They play a lot of hockey. You win a Stanley Cup in 1999, people start to take attention to the game. But there are a lot of
More eyes on the
really
game just because,
really
yeah.
good players. They love the game. What I'm saying is, we get a little arrogant here in Minnesota where we think we own the game more than Canada does
We do.
or than another
I think we
state
do.
does. It's like we're a little full of ourselves and we're not that great. Just slow down.
But can't there be
Slow your roll.
Can't there be a confidence and pride though in what we have developed?
Well, there
in-
can be a pride, but
Yeah.
and you know
We are the Mecca. The Mecca of hockey.
Okay,
No matter what. It doesn't matter what
I look at
people
it through
do.
the lenses. I'm insanely proud of Minnesota hockey, and nobody's been more involved with it with me
No,
than what I
it's
do.
true.
And
same with Mr. Delich.
I've been incredibly focused on high school hockey.
Yeah.
And actually, it is important to me that we protect the sanctity of community-based sports.
100%.
Even if that means there's open enrollment and moves and transitions, who gives a shit? The fact is it's still community-based and not club-owned or based.
Yep.
So, yes, it's something we should be very proud of. I'm just saying that in other markets, they're just as proud as we are.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep. I could agree with that.
Is there a place where NHL hockey players go to raise their families more so than Minnesota, and specifically Edina?
No.
I mean, you can thank Tom Nevers for that.
I think, Doc, you were
He
saying...
started that whole thing.
Real estate?
Yeah. Why Nevers? Why Nevers?
Well, because he started with one guy who played for the Wild way back, probably about 12, 13, 14, 15.
Mikko Koivu?
No, it was even before then. But then it started being, you just got to live there.
Parisi.
And then that's where the whole thing when Foligno was on, I forget which podcast it was.
Oh, she's here.
And they asked what it was like when 11 and 20 were running the show. And they said, well, they live in the swanky West Metro suburb called Edina. And all of us young guys who got traded for here, came here, knew that the rink was in St. Paul and Trier Rink was in downtown St. Paul as well. So we live on the east side of town. But the big names that we're speaking of were like, no, we're going to practice at Braemar. And he goes, now we move over there, and because they are who they are, now we're all tracking across town, and that kind of probably didn't help the dynamic very much.
Interesting.
Fair.
I mean, I don't know. I think players end up living here because they love the tax base so much.
Yep.
And I'm kidding.
Yeah.
And
I was just going to say.
I love the schools, the family.
I do think there's a level of
seasons.
comfort with the game and the accessibility of it.
Yep.
The one thing we have better than any other market is
rinks,
organized accessibility.
Yep.
We can,
School districts.
Bernsey, we can take these outdoor rinks at Edina. We can get rid of half of them.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I think real quick,
Like nobody uses them.
Well, it's probably the top youth hockey association in the country.
Yep. I remember, Doc, you were saying
That is fair to say.
that Edina has the largest youth numbers for hockey in the country. Is that?
700 players at each level.
I
It's
think
insane.
they might be challenged though by either Maple Grove, Osseo Maple Grove, and White Bear Lake.
Sure. I know there was that great Netflix documentary that Doc had showed me covering a number of different high school hockey programs. That's on YouTube. That was pretty enlightening.
Oh,
for
the
someone-
association?
The association
Yeah.
for someone like myself who never quite got into hockey. But I mean, we were a big hockey town out in Mound. So I mean, there's a lot of schools out west.
Home of
who
Thaler Arena.
Thaler Arena, Delano. They've also been a good powerhouse for hockey too. There's been some good athletes that have come through there. So
Delano Area Sports Center.
yeah. There's a lot of great hockey rinks. A lot of, like you said, just accessibility. You know, you think about all the rinks, and I think you had referenced the other week. Was it in Poland or somewhere else where there's only eight rinks?
That wasn't me.
Somebody had said the fact. I'll have to go and dig a little bit, but I know that there's there's certain parts of the world, or hockey-based countries that have very few rinks.
Yeah, Finland.
Finland. Okay, was that 7 or 8?
Seriously.
They have like 8 rinks,
Okay, there we go.
and they shut down probably like 3 or 4 of them during the off season so that they can play other sports. And they get
There we
more
go.
players
Isn't that nice?
coming from the Finns over to play NHL hockey. And it's crazy how much, like, I don't remember the stats, but I'm going to say it's like 800 hockey players make up the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, back then, it was like 18% made up from the USA. And the rest are coming from everywhere else, parts of the world. So it just shows you, and we get so fixated in hockey, obviously here in the Mecca state of Minnesota, where hockey was just gun-ho. All the parents want private skating lessons. Think about hockey 24/7, 365, and they just gear them towards one sport at such an early age. As a coach, and I've coached 11 years, it's vital. It's so important that a child plays various sports, 2 or 3, recommended, until you're like 14, 15. And then when you get 16 years old and you want to get serious about something, okay, pick and choose. But until then, it's going to make
Amen,
you such
brother.
a well-rounded athlete. And if you keep on playing pitcher and you start doing this and you're sitting there doing it 365 days a year to get better, your shoulder, your arm, your elbow, you're not even going to make it to high school with that.
Overuse
not sustainable.
injuries are
Swimmers,
an epidemic.
everything.
In every sport, it's an epidemic. And there was
Horrible.
a reason there's seasons.
Is the last minute of play in the period.
There's a reason there are seasons, and I think it's really important for that to happen.
100%.
Now, the moral of the story was the experience in Montreal at a Canadiens game.
Yep.
As an original six, it felt every bit of it. It was super cool. The red home jerseys are great. I have to say, the orange home jerseys for the Ducks are debatable. I've had many debates. I'm kind of okay with them, but their road jerseys looked unreal. That orange in their buckets were awesome. It was
Is it undeniable though that the jerseys that the Wild wear from time to time? I don't know what the exact name of it is, but the throwback, the
North Stars.
North
North
Stars.
Stars.
Yeah.
78.
Can we agree that that's
sweet.
probably one of the cleanest?
Needs to
jerseys
be
in
the
whole
sweater
league?
of that team,
Always
home
has
and
been.
away. They
Yeah.
got
One
to
of
just
the
cut it.
one of the
just
cleanest.
stop with it and go with that.
Always has been.
That,
right.
that needs to be like the home jersey, correct?
Yeah, it needs to be home and away, the white inverted. Are we taking a break?
We're gonna take a break for just 30
It's a shame
seconds.
that we didn't maintain the North Stars
Absolutely.
history when they left.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. And we are back to the Meta Sports League studios and the DigiFan Podcast. Fellas, fascinating conversation, but we didn't really get into Wags' honor.
takes.
Let's get a little Wags' honor.
We hit the Minnesota culture pretty hard. We hit hockey pretty hard here too. Curious what
we got a famous guy here.
we do, just a little bit.
Turn that around.
Resituating the beanie over there. He's got to make sure he looks good.
This is dual branded.
Okay.
Dual branded.
Love it.
I love
Should I tell the story, guys? Is that where
Tell
we're
the
going?
story, please.
Tell the story real quick.
So we're sitting at this dinner in this Greek restaurant in Montreal with, our whole crew, 120 people. You've got the owner giving out these. Well, first of all, the day before we went into the office, we did Eden Prairie and Wayzata. We did them remotely from the office in front of a bunch of our higher ups, and they saw the product and were like, what is this? Of course, we were purchased by Live Barn, a massive company that is just full of great people. And they have this Hall of Fame, Live Barn Hall of Fame. And I said to Matt Harrington, I go, God, that is so cool. I would love to be on that someday. And I thought, I'm nowhere near it. So he's giving out these awards, and he kept saying the criteria is you have to be here for 3 years. And I had been there for just about a year, and he's going through everything. He's like listing this guy and his company and what he's done and blah, 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 blah. And then he says my name. I'm like, what? So first ballot Hall of Famer. That means more than any other award I've ever gotten
Let's
in this industry.
Yeah.
So
Wags.
thank you.
Let's go. That's big
was
time.
very
That's
cool.
big time.
They've never
Great
met anyone
company.
like you.
That's kind of what they've said.
You've been in the game though
True.
for, you were saying at breakfast, 20. Is this year officially 20? You crossed 20, or when did you cross 20?
Of doing this.
Got it.
Yes, of doing my own thing. And can I just launch this call real quick?
Yes.
I would say a company like Live Barn has been fishing around the youth sports and hockey for many, many years.
Yep.
And they've probably caught some pretty good talent along the way. And Wags, knowing
Blew
the
it out of the
circumstances of how he joined them, was a fish that just sort of jumped into the boat. And then they realized that was probably the greatest fish they ever caught.
ever.
Do I know what the greatest part, hey, buddy, you know what the greatest part about that is? Because you know me, I'm like wild. I can barely sit still. So yeah, I'm flapping around like a fish out of water all the time. So in more ways than one, that was perfect.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, one of the things is we're so different in Minnesota because we stream single game-to-game events with announcers and promotions that go behind it and things like that. they have perfected. They manufacture the camera, develop the technology from where you view the game, and have a whole team that does that for various sports. Their swim product is really good, actually.
Okay.
In fact, we're switching off of what we're using right now and using the Live Barn things, and we're starting in the Duluth pools first, and then we're going to bring them into some of the lake conference pools. Very good stuff. They've got a really good score application that goes along with it too.
Yeah. You know the name of it?
Streamline. Does that sound familiar?
Could be.
It's the one that shows all the results.
Yeah.
We're working on embedding that in. It's very cool.
Wow.
Anyway, so it's a great group. Really fun.
Hey, real quick, I just want to correct myself. Right now in 2024-25, from the NHL players, there's 242 active that come from the USA, which represents 28.2%.
That's pretty high.
That's a good percentage.
It is. Canada, 41.6%.
Holy shit.
They're at 60 and 70.
And they have
years
the
ago.
population of California.
That's insane when you think about it.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
If we're talking percentages of people who
But they
play
used to have
in
like
to make
60,
it
70%
really
back in the day. Yeah. That was before.
so a little bit of a resurgence. You think over the last couple of decades?
Yeah.
But they say the youth hockey in Canada is way down because if you're not building indoor ice, you're losing customers.
I'll be frank with you. I was a little bit stunned when I was in Montreal, and I'd kind of casually bring up hockey because they'd ask what we were there for, and I was surprised by the overwhelming majority didn't seem to really care.
No.
And then if you say, "Hey, I'm going to the Canadiens game," they didn't seem to really care. It was interesting. It wasn't like
the French.
You
Is that because it's a way of life and it's just like big deal?
it seemed like
the French
it.
are sort of
Right?
snobby.
It's like culture. Could be a culture thing.
Well, they were clearly pissed whenever I'd open up my mouth in English. Like, oh God.
Here we go.
Here we go. I got to talk English to this guy again. You do? It's just like, and it was funny. Let's talk Bill Bellicheck.
Yeah. Let's switch it up. Go from the rink, and we'll get it over to the gridiron.
I think the whole thing about his gig is that nobody ever knows what he's thinking, why, or how he does things.
That's for sure.
And that's what makes him
Probably one of the greatest poker players of all time.
that's what
in
makes
professional
it-
sports.
Either love about him or hate him.
And I love it. And so that's,
I don't think there's
that's
an
what's
in-between with
uniquely-
him.
But
No.
that's what's uniquely him.
It's like liver.
But he tries to show more of himself on the Manning cast for sure. But
Can we all agree
even
real
then it's
quick that
challenging.
that's where he's really shined?
I didn't want to. I told you I didn't want him to coach.
I don't know if it's shining.
I
Oh,
agree
yeah.
with you. I agree with you, Jeff. that's
Define
true.
shining for Bill Bellicheck. I mean, that's a totally
Yes,
different
it's all
concept.
relative.
I think his knowledge is on full display, and I love everything about him. I love the dryness. He's the kind of guy where he'll never kiss your ass. He doesn't give a shit if you're
No.
kissing his, and if you do, he'll say "f off." He's that guy. That's
Yeah.
why I like him. He's
No,
not in it for anybody's accolades.
He was never impressed.
That's the best.
As much as Fox is impressed by Tom Brady and they promote him like he's the
greatest thing since sliced bread.
homecoming king, it's almost embarrassing how much they prop that guy up.
Yeah.
Belichick was never impressed by him. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
He was just another role player for Belichick, and he's dry.
So does-
I think there's a little bromance there, though.
You can't tell me that with all the
think
Super
so.
Bowls that they won that they don't have somewhat of
they're
a-
very tight.
So
There's a
let's-
lot of trust.
Let's talk
I think no way.
contract, right? We
Yeah,
got
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
5 years.
Because the reality is every coach is going to have 5 years.
but 3 years guaranteed.
Fine.
You think he makes it?
I do.
He's 72, right?
Lifer.
Did I see that it was $10 million per year? Was that what it
Well,
came out to?
I didn't see the number.
Okay.
But what I will say is this: do we think he makes it or don't? Nobody will ever know that answer but him.
Well, the presser.
We can sit here and opine on it all
The
we want.
presser yesterday, they asked him, "What do you say to the people that say you just came here because there was an opening here and you'll be in the NFL in 1 or 2 years?" And he said, "I didn't come here to leave."
Yeah, if he says that, I believe it.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's
do
a
too.
legacy
Do you believe
play,
it?
isn't it? It's a legacy.
believe
A legacy play.
I think what we were saying earlier, that this is basically like the AAA for the NFL now, with the money and stuff that's being thrown around in the portal and the trades.
Ton of money.
Yeah, it's not that far different from the NFL at this point. And I mean, I don't see him as a heavy recruiting guy other than just playing for
He'll have
Bill
his
Belichick.
team. Yeah.
Well,
You think
they literally have a general manager. Diamond is a general manager, and he's going to go get the players, and he's going to coach.
Jeff Diamond?
I think his name's Mike.
Okay.
Jeff Hyman from the Vikings.
I honestly don't think
Remember that?
if
for sure.
Dion didn't do what he did in Colorado, I don't think Bill Belichick is at North Carolina.
Okay.
I think he paved the way for
Cool take.
a new model.
Cool take.
Okay.
So real quick though, we were talking about
That's
this at
good.
breakfast
That's
though.
You just made news.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Good job, Jeff.
With that though, what kind of role do you think you were touching on this, Wags, with how the landscape of college football has changed? I mean, it is more of a professional sport. You know, it's truly a business now relative to even 10 years ago. What do you think Bill Belichick's role is going to be with recruiting? Again, it's hard to say the impact that you can have in 1 year. It's also been pointed out, we've seen what, Sanders has done, what Dion has done in a very short time. He was able to, obviously, his sons came with.
Jackson State was amazing.
Jackson State was amazing. Then he goes on to Colorado. Yeah, they had those great couple of games early in the season. They upset TCU last year. Everybody was on cloud nine. They proceeded to lose most of their games last year. This year, a little bit of a different story. How quick do you think you can turn around North Carolina?
I think very quickly, because the portal can prove that free agency in college football is alive and well, and guys are going to bounce to where they need to go, and they're going to go there because it is a stepping stone league to get to the league that they ultimately need to end up being at. I think it's very difficult for us to look at a head coach and say, okay, Nick Saban, when you were at Alabama, you know who every single player is in every corner of the country. Maybe he does, but he's got a whole staff that does that for him. And they have a whole culture that they're creating. It's Bill Belichick that'll create that culture, and then it'll be his crew that'll bring in the players, and then he'll either approve and or deny. And you gotta agree that if a guy like Bill Belichick knocks on your door and says, son, I'd like you to come play for me, it would be the answer,
much
right?
Like, absolutely. I mean, obviously, he's a great coach. He's going to do fine. They're going to get a lot of great players because of it, and they're going to expand on the program. So
I think it's great for college football. I hope it defines the relationship. I think there's a weird schism now, to use the chilly word in the locker room, between the NBA and college and the NFL and college. So it's almost like those two pro sports leagues had free feeder systems to them where they would develop players till they were 21 or 22 years old, and then they'd pick them up as pretty matured or maturing athletes and then go with it. But in Major League Baseball, in MLS, in the NHL, they all have minor leagues, and they have programs where they bring kids at 18. They take chances. Many don't make it,
I think
but they have development program. Those two don't have that, and I think let's just
you're saying
peel the Band-Aid off and say that's what the college football and basketball is.
Yeah, well,
it's the minor leagues for the pros.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you're bringing that point up for basketball, at least, I mean, seeing the rise in the development of AAU programs, I mean, some of the summer circuits that they do beyond just the the high school season, I mean, there are tons of even private camps that professional. I mean, and I think in a lot of ways, it's not necessarily the same type of system that we've talked about the last couple of weeks with hockey. Go and play juniors, or you go up into Canada, then you come back and you can play in college. Man, I think that there's such a focus on these elite camps, whether it's a Chris Paul camp or Steph Curry. You have these, like I said, very, very elite
Manning
showcases.
passing camp.
Yeah, Manning passing
it's
camp.
all a pro camp.
Ask Johnny Manziel how that worked out.
Spend $1 billion and you're going to be 100% better.
But I mean, I think there's something to say about people historically who have been to those elite camps. Yeah, you could look at a percentage and say, okay, these people want to go do something. But historically speaking, if you do end up in those, like those are feeder programs, I would say, in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's not the official structure that maybe some other sports have. But I don't think we can just dismiss that those.
It's going to give you a better look.
Yeah, that those that don't have. I mean, you can't say those don't have an impact on players' careers. So,
not at all.
If you're good, you're good.
Yeah, if you're good, you're good.
They know who you are, and they know where to find you.
Yep.
And you know where to go. It's just, how do you get into this space where maybe you're not physically strong enough to play at the next level, and then how much of an incubation period do you need to be good enough, and where do you put that player?
Yeah.
But coaches read that, right? Absolutely making decisions, because you can get him probably early off and make him the player you want him to be, and he's going to mature. We do it all the time in hockey. Like, oh, this guy's really fast, but he can't handle the puck. Do you think we can catch him up to speed by the time we need him? So To your point, yes. I think that there's a window that coaches are looking at. And
Well, it's interesting in Dallas. I knew we didn't give up on a player till he was 27.
Yeah.
Because there's
Which is
some
big.
kids that hit puberty maybe at 18, 19. And, there's a period of time where you finally grow into your being.
yeah,
Yep.
And there's some players
Just to
that
be
they-
clear, who are you talking about? I might be out of the loop. Dallas?
Dallas. I'm just saying just a random player. But, Les Jackson would tell me that all the time. And he's a long-time assistant
Yep.
Happens all
director
the
of
time.
scouting. And it would be like, but there are guys they do give up on before 27 because they think they've matured to who you are type of thing.
Yep.
So, by the way, can I just go off the rails? I mean, are we done with the Belichick thing? I mean, I think we.
Yeah, yeah,
I would
last word.
say one last thing about
Let's put a little bow on it.
The Belichick thing is like, to me, if I'm a parent and I have a kid that's ready to go to college to play football, I would look at more from an idealistic standpoint. I look at more like a Kevin O'Connell as like a guy that's going to mentor my son. Belichick is not that guy, so I feel like the script is flipped a little bit as far as like mentoring and
Okay,
like,
now
I don't think
you open it up.
Yeah, I don't think Belichick is. He's more like the
Old
CEO.
school.
right.
Old
But
school.
he
He's
has
the
the
CEO.
team. You know that he has
Correct.
the team, the
He's
foundation
running the program.
to be able, implement.
You
that
may never have a
perfect
relationship with him.
Right.
Yes.
You don't need
How
to.
do you know that?
But you might.
I'm surmising.
Okay.
I feel like
So-
a guy like
so-
O'Connell is like
Because on the surface,
he
it
can't
feels
stop
like
telling
he's-
his players that he loves them.
But okay, that's a little creepy.
Okay, weird.
No,
But that's who he is, right?
But here's the thing: would your father have wanted Bill Belichick to be that person for you?
I mean, my father was Bill Belichick.
Okay. So what the fuck has changed?
All right.
I'm just saying. I feel like the script is flipped.
It's a little more touchy-feely.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily buy that completely.
Sure.
Belichick is
And
the
here-
coach
here-
for grown men, and KOC seems like he'd be more fit for college.
I just.
He's-
I,
Okay,
what I laugh at is there's
Okay.
there's not a
two,
soul-
two totally different coaching
Hang on
styles
here.
right there. Great
There's
comparison.
not a
KOC,
soul in
Belichick.
this room that knows KOC personally. There's not a soul in this room that knows Bill Belichick personally.
But we've seen
and
enough
there
to
are
get
a
a
ton of
pulse of
people
them.
out. We don't know. There are a ton of people. You're not there. You're not in the meeting room. You
No,
don't know
but
what the
there's-
relationship.
But we're seeing these locker room talks. We're seeing these different moments where you can see snippets of their
Ooh.
character.
Okay, here it comes.
We don't know what their relationships are like. These are public
Yes. True.
bullshit planned events now. I mean, come on. I
Some
mean,
of it
he's
is,
on
some of it
camera
isn't.
now.
It's not all
have you seen
camera now,
Belichick's
and he
presser?
knows.
It's not
He
all
knows.
Yeah, have you
They're
seen
beautiful.
Have you seen the press?
I'm just saying, you guys like
We're
none
looking
of us
we're looking
know.
forward to New York.
It's just so easy to have an opinion based off of what you see of a guy behind a microphone on a table with a bunch of jackass reporters who've never played a minute of a game asking him stupid questions. You don't know what his relationship is.
But you still have to be professional. And it's what you're giving out, people are going to portray.
What
portray
Wags
you
is
as.
saying is
He's not
6
selling
Super
to
Bowls.
you or me. Or
No,
him.
right, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Nine appearances, 6 Super Bowls is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think there's enough data though, like you said, you see these
You got to
different
be
clips on the
relating to
field.
people somehow.
A little bit, and sometimes when there's no connection to people, like it rubs people the wrong way when there's just no personal
But
connection.
what does it matter?
It doesn't to him.
It doesn't. All
doesn't.
it matters,
It
all it
doesn't.
matters
It
is
never
to what
has.
happens
It
with the
never
team.
has.
Now, if you want to get into the drama and get into the gossip, some people think that he was like too soft on Aaron Hernandez. He did the, so like, okay, well then he's not
Sure,
this big,
he's
but we don't know. We weren't there. We don't know.
Some people think he's too soft on his girlfriend.
Mic drop.
Is
All right.
the last minute of
you
play
could
in the
never
period.
get her.
I know we got a couple other things. We got a little bit of hockey. We got a little bit of football. We got a number of different things. What do you think we want to get here in the last little segment?
I want to get in on the Twins real quick.
Twins. Okay.
Yes, and the right-handed bat situation
Okay.
of what they're trying to do. And I'm looking at this list of people that are out there as corner infielders, corner outfielders.
Sure.
And the only bat that works for me is one they need to re-sign.
Yeah.
And they had to move Jorge Polanco to get the numbers for him. And I'm talking
Jorge
Carlos Santana.
Polanco.
Thank you. Carlos Santana. And
Santana.
We're going to be hearing that for next little bit, so just prepare yourself. Buckle in.
he does not want to hear the English butcher. But I just feel like that's the easy answer.
Yeah.
And we'll see where they can come up with the money to make it happen. But he might get really good money somewhere else. But I think they've just got some issues with solving some problems they need to sell if this exploratory thing works. Because if you're a Twins fan, you are in no man's land over the next 3 to 4 years.
I agree. It's been one of those things. It's been the hard reality that, you know, my dad and a lot of people who have been around for many, many years, many decades of Twins baseball, they have always tried their best to rekindle the fire after somebody has hit their prime, and they think a lot of times it's a stellar deal or they're getting a bargain. A lot of times things backfire. There's been a number of players that we've signed, especially pitchers over the last couple of years, that just suddenly don't want to pitch or they suddenly don't want to play. And then next thing you know, they end up on a different team and all of a sudden they are playing lights out baseball. And that makes us look pretty bad. But there's been some trades over the last, 5, 6, 7 years that have just gone sideways for us. Minimal value extracted from some of these players. We end up dumping them, cutting them, for pennies, trading them, and it's been quite frustrating to see what we've done since we had. I think we had that 100+ win season. I don't know if you remember that. I know that was a little bit of a dream for many people. If we could get somewhere close back to that, that would be quite remarkable.
How old were you in 1991?
I was not even a thought yet.
Okay. Well, we did experience 2 World Series with this team.
And what was the magic? What was the magic? What was the recipe that really did? I've seen clips.
They had 2.5.
I've seen movies.
They had 2.5 starting pitchers.
Yeah.
They had
Okay.
And Wags, I would say that TK is much like Belichick.
We're cutting off early today.
Are we done?
We're not cut off. No. I'm just trying to signal you guys it's got to go to the commercial break.
We'll be back.
We'll be back
right
here
after this.
Check out.
We thought we were done early.
All right, good. Little break's good.
Well, we're back with the MetaSports League podcast here. The fellows are just talking through a few things. If you look at your screen, it's the DigiFan Podcast. Go ahead and sub on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook and Twitch at the MetaSports League. Now back to the fellas. Guys.
Smash that button.
Smash
the
that
most
subscribe
overused word. Smash that button.
Smash the subscribe button.
but smash. Okay, but the one thing they did do back in the Twins, Iverson Castellano.
Right back into it.
Back into it.
Yep.
They actually brought in a pitcher who allegedly isn't damaged goods that they didn't give up assets for. They have to keep this guy because he's Rule 5 on the roster or they lose picks. By the way, are there like 80 rounds of compensatory picks in big league? It's so weird.
It's so weird. But, I mean, that's probably been one of the least followed sports when it comes to drafting. I mean, there's so many rounds. There's the Rule of 5, so many stipulations. You do this, you do that. You lose rights to players or you still have rights. It's one of those things. As much as of a baseball fan as I am, it's one of those things where it's honestly hard to keep up. There's so many players getting moved around.
Realistically, we knew that Juan Soto was going to go to one of 3 teams, stay in New York with the Yankees, move across the street to the Mets, or go to L.A.
Yep.
He signs with the Mets, and I heard the big thing is he ended up getting what he wanted, which was a suite. If you're making $785 million, buy your own damn suite. Shut up. How would you feel about that? You've taken everything from me.
Yeah.
I mean, and now you're going to take my revenue.
In 15 years?
15 years, and he is 20.
Who plays for 15 years?
I mean, that's a bad contract.
That's a bad contract.
I mean,
because it's going to diminish pretty soon, isn't it?
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
where do you even start?
How do you think his agent feels right now? He's got to feel pretty good.
He won't have to work another day in his life.
Yeah. I mean, talk about working your whole life for a moment like that.
We're getting upwards to $1 billion here.
I mean, that's pretty well to think.
Being.
Yeah, for one team. And I think one thing to talk on real quick that's kind of the opposite side of the deal that Soto just landed. What Shohei was able to do, what they were able to work out with that staggered, that vested contract that they had where he deferred majority, 99% of his contract into, several years ahead. I mean, I think that's one of the smarter things because, I mean, I know part of it obviously factors in taxes in where he's based out of in the state of California, that's not necessarily the best place to be for taxes.
I mean, here's the interesting thing about the Shohei deal. How many innings did he pitch last year?
He didn't.
Thank you. Did he finish the season?
He was.
No. He got hurt in the playoffs, remember?
Okay, well, sure. I mean, finish regular. Yeah,
Thank you. When do you need a guy like that?
Postseason.
Thank you.
Oh,
You can drop all the money you want on a guy in the regular season,
But they still went on to
they
win.
break. I know, fine, but they break is my point. I mean, these
They
things.
still won. Yeah, and you can't.
A machine is more reliable than a human being because you can replace a part.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how you could drop that kind of dough on a body that could break.
And I think
They
that's
do it all the time.
And
crazy.
how do you coexist with your teammates?
That's why they have insurance.
How do you?
Yeah, how do you?
I mean, it's because they've already broken all the data down into ridiculous numbers on how much per pitch, how much per inning.
Yep.
I mean, it's just.
I mean,
they might as well
Graced
they
and
might as well
blessed
give
by
him a
your
sep-
presence.
in theory, right
They
now,
just wanna give him
in
his own
theory,
locker
right now,
room.
he's making chump change. If we're being literal about it, but I get over the period of time, there's going to be some serious dough that he's raking. But I agree. I mean, regular season, incredible numbers, and just think what he can contribute when his arm, his elbow is healthy. I mean, who's to say that he can't arguably go down as one of the? Is it crazy to say best player, one of the best players ever to be in the MLB? Is that a hot take?
That's you're making news too.
I think the money ruins him.
It
You
didn't
think the
ruin
money?
him last
You
year.
think the money gets to his head?
I think it just ruins his career.
I think it didn't for him.
It's a lot of pressure.
Weirdly.
It is a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's all sorts of
You are
can-
thinking
can-
there's
about
all
it.
it
sorts of
can mess up in your head,
intangibles.
right?
There's all sorts of intangibles.
Well, there
that
becomes
play.
diminishing returns
so, I mean, he
where you
won-
can't do it. But
And if my memory serves correctly, he won the MVP award. So I mean,
I mean,
you
he's
don't
the
think
one that said it, not me. So ask him.
So do you think you
Maybe
don't
it-
think he had a good regular season?
Maybe a
him.
disgruntled fan shoots him
keeps looking
in the
at
streets
me.
of New
I'm
York
asking
because
everybody.
the ticket prices have gone up.
I mean, this is a collective
that's
input.
tough.
I'm curious what you guys think. I mean, do you think he had a decent regular season?
Unreal year. It was record breaking. It was phenomenal. It was insane. Incredible player. I'm just saying you're putting extra coin out because he can tow it. We knew he wasn't going to be.
Is it scalable?
I don't think so.
I don't either. I mean, when you
there's
start-
diminishing
when you start
returns.
Scaling. He didn't even pitch. He can pitch, and that's going
I
to be
know,
even
but he
more-
might not ever be able to pitch, and that could.
He was already throwing bullpens. He was already warming up towards the tail end of the year.
How's it working for Chris Paddock with his TJs? I'm just saying, you know what? TJs don't necessarily. It used to be that when you have these injuries these guys have, you were done. And then Tommy John was kind of a last ditch effort to keep you alive and well. And yes, they have better processes with what they do, but these
Better
guys,
shots.
These guys end up just getting. I'm just saying, man, there's a lot going on there, and it's interesting. But he had an MVP season and well deserved. But if you're paying him that money, you're paying him to be in the lineup because you're paying him to be a machine.
Wags,
Doesn't make it right.
As a parallel story, have you ever seen the documentary on the people that have won the lottery?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
It ruins every one of their lives.
They're all broke.
I would love to
They're
see
all
that.
broke.
Is that where is it? Netflix?
Yeah,
I gotta see
it ruins every one of their lives.
Send me the link, will you?
They're all broke.
If you think to.
Yeah.
Okay.
All their relationships changed. Everything
Interesting
went to
takes.
shit.
I just want to say this because it all started about the Minnesota Twins, 1991. We started the culture here in the Twins, I believe, in 1987 when we started bringing home that Homer Hanky. Right, that's when that started, and that's what,
Only in Minneapolis.
exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's like all over the place. But I'm
there
just saying
there
that's
was the terrible
culture.
towel in Pittsburgh.
That was
I think
horrible.
that came second.
No, that was me, Joe Green.
Okay.
That's way before
Anyways,
the Twins.
don't kill the Homer Hanky segment here. That's when the culture started for the Minnesota
It did.
Twins here.
It started for Minnesota, actually.
Yeah,
I
Minnesota.
mean, not just Twins.
Oh, okay.
I think it.
Yeah, no,
I-
it did start here in Minnesota. Yes,
but I think the culture you're saying of
Yeah.
that whole vibe.
yes,
Just to win a
started from that
championship.
in '87, and
Right. Yes,
and
that's-
it all was around the Homer Hanky.
And would you guys say that it?
But like if you go to a big Wolves or a big Viking, there's always a towel because it's a direct result of that culture.
yes. Right.
So how big of an impact do you think it was when the Twins moved out of the Metrodome and went to Target Field? How much do you think that shifted the? I know, probably a
It's
source.
an interesting question.
Sore subject
No,
for
no,
sure.
not
I think it's
really.
way bigger
No?
impact
Way
for,
bigger.
for the
Yeah.
Vikings versus the Twins.
Oh my gosh, football game. I mean, I don't know about
Night
you
and
guys.
day. Night and day.
I don't know why this memory sticks out above all other memories, but I still remember that game. I believe Brett Favre, and this is crazy to say, was on the Vikings that year. They were playing the 49ers.
2009.
I don't know if you guys remember that touchdown pass that he threw to
Yes.
Greg Lewis in the back
Yeah.
of the end zone. That was probably one of the best plays I have ever experienced in my life when it comes to football. I mean, I still remember the call, PA on the call. You know, Patrick Allen, God bless his heart,
remember
one of
the
the best in the
interception.
game. One of the best in the game. That was probably one of the best plays I've ever heard.
That was week 3. That was so far his third game as a Viking. And I remember that he was on the radio on the Monday after that game, and he said that he was at the House of Pancakes. And that morning he goes, and I ran into Greg Lewis. He goes, I never got to meet him until the day after that throw.
OPH Eden Prairie, right
Yeah,
up by
exactly.
Prairie Center.
Yeah.
Prairie
Brings
Center.
everybody
right?
together.
But he had just joined the team that week, so Favre had actually never even met him
That's funny.
before he threw him that pass.
To your dome question, though, with the Twins, it's really fascinating. Like, you think about that, and I think some of the greatest feats in Twins baseball history occurred there. Sherrod Crew going over 400 in August at the Met Stadium. I was there at that game, Jersey Day. But those were few and far between in my lifetime that I remember. But the dome, when you think about it, was so shitty. It was good. And because
It was
of it,
shitty good.
It was shitty good. It was gross, but it was fine. And then now this is so nice. It's really an unbelievable place. But you've never really gotten that magic that goes back to what you spoke about
Right.
with the Homer Hanky,
Yep.
which was a really tight environment in a really bad state.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's like going to
it's weird.
Tuttle's.
It is. Wow, a free plug for Mike Tuttle, my good buddy from high school.
Absolutely.
But it's a good question, Peanut. It definitely has helped the Vikings more, though, I think, long term.
Yeah.
That stadium, that experience at
no
US
one would
Bank has been
remember the
unbelievable.
Dome if it wasn't for 87 and 91.
100%.
We would have been
How
throwing,
about-
we'd have been throwing
Kirby.
it away.
How about
Kirby.
the
Kirby.
years with the plexiglass out in the outfield?
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean,
The
that's
plexiglass
I was
outfield was
there.
special.
I was there when Kirby caught that one.
I mean, talk about
were you?
nostalgia.
Yes, right there.
That would have been
That-
something
that-
if I could
that
have been around for it.
That was an out of body experience for him.
That was
And then he showed up at the plate the very next inning and
Killed it.
hit one out of the park.
Yeah.
One-
Should we shift to the NFL before we run out of
Yeah,
time?
yeah. Let's shift. I know we're wrapping up.
has-
in the next
has-
couple
4
of
minutes.
Has
We have 4
anyone
minutes. Let's go.
has anyone ever looked forward to a Lions-Bills game before?
Never.
Never.
I mean, I think
but we are on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
Is it
We'll be glued.
Is it a hot take, or do you think it's accurate that this could be one of the most highly anticipated games of the whole year?
Oh, for sure.
For sure, though.
You think it's going to be the premier game of the whole year?
Yeah, I mean, it really sets up the Vikings Bears game to be very impactful.
Yep.
In the overall scheme of things. But
It almost seems
you know
like
what's so predictably unpredictable about the NFL? You'll love this. What were there, 90 points combined between the Rams and the Bills last weekend?
Yeah.
This weekend, they're both so explosive. 17-14. It's gonna be completely different from what you think. But no, I mean,
the
that
Lions
should
are
be a
missing
really
a lot of
electric
players
game.
on D.
You know what? They are giving up.
This is set up to be a Lions loss. There's no doubt about
giving
it.
up.
Let's go.
They're giving up a load of points, though. Like a ton, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they're scoring a ton. Goff is having an MVP season back
Oh
there.
my God,
But those
he's
two
AI
backs,
quarterback.
those two backs are so good.
Yeah.
Like they're just carve out 8, 9, 10. It's just woof.
But seriously, we're looking because the Vikings aren't playing. The only thing we have to look forward to on Sunday is Lions Bills, and
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever cared about that.
And
before.
inside the bubble.
And inside the bubble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Plug.
Carolina
Let's go.
Plus.
yeah.
Thanks.
interesting. Do we got any final?
Well, I think the Vikings should be the only NFC North team to win this weekend.
Oh no.
So, and real quick here, have my last thought before we wrap
Is
up.
that a jinx?
Is
I like-
this-
I like
Was that
that.
a jinx?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You
You
just
just ruined it.
We know where your money's
You
at.
heard it here first.
I think it's arguably saying that
Packers
this,
lose, Lions lose.
Oh god.
Vikings beat the Bears.
It's gonna be the
it
other way
is
around.
it
now.
is a must lose for everyone else in the NFC North. The Vikings have to win. Everybody else to lose. I think that's the best situation, the best outcome. The Lions have to lose. If the Lions win, I think the NFC North is out of reach. To be honest,
If the Vikings lose, that's pretty tough.
yeah. I would
They
say
gotta
so.
stay
the
pace.
Bears are
All right, let's
are
just
out of control.
positive
I know,
vibes,
but you
positive
never know.
vibes.
You just completely
Positive
jinxed it.
vibes. I
Oh
don't-
my god!
I don't have that much power.
No.
Wags.
You guarantee it more than you think. You guaranteed it.
Positive vibes. You do have 6 kids, so
Right.
you got
What was the word you used? Loin?
No, he said groin.
I think we got about like 60 seconds here, give or take, maybe a minute, 2 minutes. Doc, what do you see?
Actually, we have a little more time than we thought.
got a little bit more time than we thought.
I got a rip here because I gotta go.
If there's fodder, we have to talk about the sale of Michael Jordan's house.
There we go.
What do you think,
All right, let's
Wags? We got
finish
one
with
last
this one.
topic here. We got 60 seconds to 2 minutes.
Let's go LeBron and Jordan.
LeBron.
Let's
okay.
do that.
Let's talk real quick. Wags,
Difference.
Does LeBron and Bronny ruin the James legacy?
oh my goodness, no! I don't think
You
so.
mean that move?
Overreaction.
Well,
overreaction.
No, I mean LeBron did what LeBron
faking
did.
injuries and Bronny saying he's
I'm
not
just
going to
saying,
travel with his team.
if you're not going to play and you're not going to be a class act, then you get out of the game.
Which segues
You-
back to Jordan. He said he would never miss a game on the road
No,
because
he's class. He's
because
all class.
somebody might have
That's the
saved
GOAT,
all
though.
their
I think
That's
that's
the
the
GOAT.
lawn mowing money
Fair
to go
enough
see him.
question.
It's like that to me is GOAT simply because
100%.
he's the one that said I could never miss a road game because someone saved their lawn mowing money to see me in Minneapolis.
Yep. No, and that makes sense, right? That's a true athlete.
And I was one of them. I saw Jordan play at when Target Center
With your lawn mowing money?
first opened up,
Nice.
and it was incredible. I'll never forget it.
Yeah,
Never forget it.
100%.
Never forget it.
What if he didn't show up for that game, Jeff?
What a letdown.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't hold him in high regard. That's for sure. We just wouldn't. But
Yeah, you'd be super disappointed, right?
Highlight reels, yes.
Yeah.
No, but just the way, I'm sorry.
You
just
talk about the
ahead.
times that you saved up your money to go to that game and he didn't show
Right
up.
here.
I remember seeing him at his restaurant in Chicago, and he had a like a glass bubble that you could actually watch him dine in. He was protected
Very
from the
cool.
rest of the restaurant.
Yeah.
And so you could actually go see him dine at Jordan's Steakhouse.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like a zoo?
yeah.
Like a zoo animal.
He doesn't want anyone spitting on his food.
I mean, you made news earlier, and then now I don't know what we call this. This is getting into like the
Yeah.
gossip column here.
A little bit. I want to say real quick before you have to go, and I want us all to comment on it. What are your guys' reactions on some of these players sitting these strategic games, highly anticipated?
Bullshit.
Breakfast earlier, talking about the whole load management conversation.
Complete bullshit.
You got fans, you got kids that are probably
No, it's
traveling from
disrespectful.
all over the country that probably bought their
it's
tickets
disrespectful to
months
the game.
ago.
It's disrespectful to the game. It's disrespectful to the people that allow it
100%.
to stay propped up. We're the ones that pay for the tickets. We're the ones that watch on TV. We're the ones that are getting bled to pay for their contracts. If you're a professional wrestler, you'd have to show up every effing night and grind, and they break bones and work
And
hurt.
sprains. I mean,
I'm
at the
just saying,
minimum.
like seriously, it's
Yeah.
two totally different worlds. But I'm saying you're entertainers too, and you're paid like entertainers. Shut up, play.
Show up. Show up and just
Fiery
do it.
takes. I like it.
Shut up! Like seriously, if you can't and don't want to play 82 games,
Yeah.
then don't play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there
Don't
are
sign
guys
up.
that do.
Yeah.
What
and they
makes
will
you
show
so
up.
special? Oh,
And how many
no.
people would take his spot right now?
Well, in
Yeah.
the real world, competition
Yeah.
takes care of
for
stuff like that.
82 games?
no, I know.
right here.
Or more.
Right?
Yeah.
In the real world, if there's any sign of apathy, whether it's anything that's competitive products in the marketplace, etc., apathy you'll lose to competition. And
Amen.
Do you
they
think
just don't get it.
Do you think a
100%
guy
guys.
do you think a guy like Bob Gainey would say, "Oh, it's okay. We all grinded through maybe 105, 110 games through 4 rounds of playoffs, 82 regular season games. Never took a day off because if we did, someone will take our spot. But it's okay because we got to make sure because I just don't feel right."
Yeah.
And that's
I'm a
why
little
we. And that's
tweak.
why. That's
play
why.
through it.
And that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's
So
why.
bad.
And see,
That's
that's-
why we should cater and covet a guy like Belichick because he'll never allow
What
that to
about
happen.
what
Yeah.
about the fucking garbage
Let's go
man that
back to
has to get up
Belichick.
every day and gets in his truck and he has to work
hot.
I had a torn patella tendon.
Mm-hmm.
I found a way to jump off that truck every day and get that trash collected because I had to make the money to feed my family. I played hurt, goddammit. I don't want to hear about your bullshit hammy.
You know, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like
Like, we
Instead
get
of-
up every day and we have to work. You got to work 82 I was just say effing
Hours
nights a week, and you can't. Stop. And, I don't care what anybody says. They will never change my mind. It's bullshit.
Hey, let's end with this. This is
But I'm in a good
extremely,
mood.
extremely exciting. Extremely.
The NBA has the disease more than in the rest of the leagues.
But
I agree.
Wait, would you say it's
guys
arguable that?
disagree with that intense take?
No, yeah,
No,
100%.
it's a perfectly
But
good
like
take.
as a working
Yeah, no, we get it, we get
Well,
it.
and see, here's the thing, though, with that, like, it doesn't mean we're not expecting these players. I know some players are 40-plus minute types of players, and
I
come
really
out and
gotta
play.
go. I think here, hang on.
I think the
Keep going.
one last point to say is even if we can find some sort of middle ground, if it's a couple minutes each, each part of the game, like whatever it takes, like I think that would be at least better than nothing. We got to find something for them to get into different quarters.
Well, with all this enthusiasm, it sounds like we're ending with the podcast. But
On that positive
it
note.
should
On
sound
a
like we
very
should be
positive
starting.
note.
It's your
This
fault.
is
You
great.
triggered me. You
All right,
totally
let's
triggered
go.
me. It's your fault.
It's my fault. I love it. Great one. Doc,
Well,
take us out.
boys, what a great pod. Very fiery and fun. I think we got to do brekkies every week.
Yep. That was the key to success.
From the MetaSports League studios, it's Wags, JC, L. Teagues, and Peanut. This is the MetaSports League and DigiFan Podcast every Friday at noon. See ya.